Hello everyone and welcome to Shareware. I'm Brent and I'm joined by...
This is where you say our names.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you guys said your names like
you have the script.
I'm Josh.
I'm Brett.
Okay.
And I'm also upset.
Brett.
Oh, are you going to be
upset.
rhyming?
Because Brent is wet. Wait, like
Whoa.
wet behind the ears.
Okay.
Wet behind the ears.
Each host brings their
intro.
own topic.
I'm going to delete all this. Let's start over.
Okay.
Intro. Wet.
Yeah. Each host brings their own topics, and every episode ends with the game club where you all play along.
Every topic consists of bodily functions.
Yeah. Not every.
Or means of storing such.
This week's game club is Jet Set Radio, in which we play through the end. Timestamps for each of the segments can be found in the shotes. I said shotes.
Please, everyone, look forward
If you want
to
to jump ahead.
He does not want me to make a gag in the middle of this.
It's almost
No.
like he's trying to finish the intro.
It is. But
It only took probably 3 times as long as it should have.
Only 4 minutes.
So, guys,
What?
we talk about some things on the show. What are you guys talking about this week?
I'm literally just talking about some games I played.
Oh, okay.
Multiple, but short segment.
Some games?
Yeah.
It's
You
Brett's
wanna-
cornucopia of games.
Oh, I came up with a topic for Brent's topic.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like you just came up and you changed your topic right now.
You know what? New topic.
Actually, I'm going to talk about Gamergate.
This is going to be a fashion podcast.
So, Josh,
I
what is your topic? Is your topic also like a wide variety of topics?
My topic is one singular topic.
Okay.
Yet, at the same time, an infinite topic.
Oh,
That's
no.
a lot.
topic of galactic proportions.
That's probably
no
gonna
galaxy
take a while.
jokes on the podcast. No galaxy jokes on the podcast.
You have something against galaxies?
Yes. No visual gags, no galaxy gags, no audio gags.
Okay.
No audio gags?
No audio gags.
No gags.
Ooh,
That
jeez.
was a little... That was like...
Yeah.
Especially no
freaking
ball
weak.
gags.
Man, that's...
Yeah.
Like, even as I made that sound, I was like, Jesus.
Nobody's going to want to listen to that.
No. Can we censor that? Can we... Beep!
Yeah. My topic is Starbound, which just recently, finally hit 1.0.
Touch my fork with your sock.
Visual
God,
gags.
My visual gag is that I'm eating potato salad.
What about your topic, Brent?
So this week, I was just going to ask you guys, what's your nostalgia game? Like, what game kind of brings you back to a time in your life, or kind of like maybe a certain year that was really fun, or maybe not so fun? I don't know. What's your nostalgia game?
Okay. Do you have an example?
So for me, my nostalgia game is Rainbow Six Vegas 2.
More like Rainbow Six Vegas. Boo.
Okay, so it might not be the greatest game ever,
I
but
never played it.
oh really?
No.
It's pretty fun, and I kind of remember it from a time in my life when
That's all I have.
When we were happy.
well yes, back when I was young, innocent, and happy. This was what. I don't know how long ago, 5, 6, 7 years? I don't know.
I feel like
long
Rainbow
time.
Six 2 is, like 7 years old now at this point.
Yeah, it's been a while. It was when I first got my Xbox. So that
your
was
first Xbox or your 17th?
my 360th.
Oh, nice.
This is my 360 that I got.
Did you call it the 360 in reference to the fact that you own 359 Xboxes?
I called it the really fucking loud one.
Oh, it was the jet engine.
Yeah, you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 times. I had 3 Xboxes.
Jesus.
Yeah. Did you have the intercoolers on them?
No, but the third one I gave away to a girl I liked, and I got a hug out of it.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a great return on investment right there.
Yeah.
So tell me about Rainbow Six.
So yeah, there was this. What was that? That was the.
Like, I was trying to think of a way to segue from there. It was like... Anyway.
There was just this kind of like look of like blank sorrow in Brett's eyes. So, nostalgia.
I played Fable too.
Yeah, it was my nostalgia game mainly because that was like the game I played with all my friends when they came over.
Okay.
Yeah.
It had split screen or something, right?
Yeah, it had Terrorist Hunt, which was what everybody wanted to play. Which was you did split screen. I think it was 2 players, and you hunted down a bunch of terrorists on the map. Do you guys remember that?
I actually only ever played the first Rainbow Six Vegas, and it was only like a year ago. I played through part of the campaign with friends.
Okay.
So I never even touched Terrorist Hunt, but I know, like, there's kind of a legacy of Terrorist Hunt as being like one of the like most fun multiplayer modes, or cooperative multiplayer modes of all time.
Almost as good as GoldenEye.
It was kind of that party game you had when like you had some people over and you just wanted to kill some time.
Yeah, it's up there with like Gears of War Horde and that kind of thing of just like quintessential co-op moments.
Yeah, I guess I didn't invite Josh over much that year because I played it like all the time that year.
Yeah.
That was the year I broke my leg. So I was basically.
You broke your leg?
Yeah, I broke my ankle back then.
Unicycling?
Yes, unicycling.
Really?
Yes.
Brent
didn't know.
Hilarious.
No, that wasn't even that was so funny that I couldn't do anything but like I seriously couldn't process it quickly enough.
Yeah.
Like you broke your leg unicycling when you were in high school?
Yeah.
How the fuck did you ever come out looking good? Like, I would imagine that the high school would have torn you apart, and then cool people like me wouldn't have hung out with you.
Cool people like Brett?
Yeah, I was so
now you know
fucking
why
cool.
I hang out with Brett.
Yeah, because I was cool.
Yeah.
These guys are just sponging off my fucking coolness.
Brett is like our gateway to social normalcy. Just acceptance.
Well, we need to... Okay.
So, Rainbow Six Vegas 2?
Yeah, so that was kind of
You're really bringing the nostalgia, though. Like...
Yeah, it is the nostalgia. Like,
my leg hurts every time I play it.
It's probably not even my favorite game. It's just kind of a game I remember the most because I played it with I played it with my friends, and I guess...
He even played it with me. I wasn't even his friend. I just broke into his house, and he was like, hey, you want to play some Terrorist Hunt? I got a broken ankle.
I'm pretty sure you played Rainbow Six Vegas 2 at some point that year.
Maybe. I'm almost certain I've never played it, though.
Okay. Well, what kind of made me think about it is I finally got it on PC.
Oh.
So you can play online. Play Terrorist Hunt with your friends online.
Are people still playing it?
Well, you just play with your friends.
Yeah, you don't really need to matchmake with that kind of thing necessarily.
This goes.
How much was it?
It's like $4.
Oh,
that's super cheap.
I might actually pick it up.
Yeah,
Play sometime.
Yeah, it's a fun way to.
I'm only $100 in credit card debt. I can spend more.
I really wish it had split screen though.
On
That's
PC.
what it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish more games had split screen.
It's kind of becoming a little bit more of a staple these days, but it's still pretty damn rare.
Let me tell you about EDF, baby.
Yeah. You haven't talked about EDF enough in the last week.
I have not.
I swear if that's your nostalgia game.
Somebody...
that was like, harkens back to the age of a week ago.
Yeah, back when I was happy. But yeah, I always thought it was cool that they somehow managed to like fucking jury rig split screen into Left 4 Dead 2 because there were like remnants of it from the 360 port. I don't really understand how it works, but like basically somebody figured out how to get split screen online working on PC for Left 4 Dead through mods. And
jeez, that sounds real tough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know fucking anything about video game modding, so I can only speculate, but it does sound like it would be difficult to figure out.
There must have been some like stuff laying around in that code still, or like something they planned on doing, and some guy's like, "Oh, God, turn it on."
That kind of thing. Like you can't just
split
fucking
screen
force that into
equals
true
1. Oh yeah, true. Also works.
Or 1, or yeah. I mean, like I feel like that's what it would have had to be, is something laying around in the code.
Yeah,
because
otherwise you're basically redesigning like the renderer and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
although for Valve games, I guess you could do that, like, or at least people have in the past. They've gone full crazy with that shit.
Yeah, Source is a pretty like commonplace engine at this point. People are familiar with it. It's malleable.
Maybe I'm putting down some guy who put a lot of work into it. I'm like, no, you just turn one thing on, man.
Yeah, fuck it.
Probably took him 10 seconds.
Guy spent like 2 years.
All you have to do is install splitscreen.exe. It's so easy.
You can get it from gamehacks.ru.
My nostalgia game would probably have to be... Well, it's hard to pick between the two, but some synthesis of Diablo 1 and 2. Because one kind of led directly into the other.
Yep.
I definitely remember playing Diablo 1 with you at my house like 5 years ago and killing you a lot with friendly fire.
Well, that was the PlayStation 1 version, which is kind of an oddity, but I picked that up because it's too weird and cool not to have as a Diablo fan. Definitely not the best version of that game, but a lot of fun.
It was interesting. I liked it.
But at my grandma's house, my cousin, who is like 10 years older than me, when I was a little kid, he was a teenager. He installed the Shareware version
Shareware
of Diablo 1 that had like the first 5 levels of the dungeon or whatever. And I would play through these first 5 levels of Diablo 1 over and over and over because I was so bored at my grandma's house. My grandma's a wonderful woman, but I don't have a lot to relate to her as like an 8-year-old boy necessarily. So
Everybody's bored at their grandparents' house.
yeah,
That's a rule.
you love your grandparents. You don't want to be at their house for more than a couple hours at a time when you're a little kid.
I remember I went to my other grandpa's house and I left a can on the ground and he threatened to beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, classic scenario. you say, shucks, Grandpa, I'll pick the can up next time, and you go play Diablo 1.
Yeah, sounds like a really boring experience.
The grandma had candies and she made me watch old Matlock reruns.
What is Matlock?
It's just some fucking old ass show. Believe me, I wasn't actually watching. I was staring off into the distance, waiting for my torment to end.
The TV was just a vector through which you
Isn't
turned
it
your
like
mind off.
some old detective show or something?
I think
yeah,
so,
that
yeah.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
I think I've seen it before.
It's a grandma show.
It is.
So-
It absolutely was.
But I would sneak into her office where her computer was and shut the lights off because it was the perfect kind of game to play in the dark.
Yeah.
It had such a fucking creepy atmosphere with that kind of like gothic horror vibe and the really tight light radius, like you couldn't even see it to the edges of the screen when you were underground.
Were you allowed to play it, or was it like a clandestine operation?
I was not supposed to be playing it. It was rated M for mature, I'll have you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was a game for grown-ups,
And
and
you said-
I was just a little boy.
You said your cousin was 10 years older than you?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like his game, and like,
Yeah.
it was like, you really shouldn't have been playing
And
it.
he was really cool, so I needed to be playing this because he's a cool kid and he knows what video games are cool.
I had one like that, but it was dot hack. The dot hack games, and so significantly less cool.
Yeah.
Like, I got caught because one of the characters said damn,
Jeez.
and I wasn't supposed to be playing teen-rated games at 11 years old.
Yeah, I wasn't even allowed to play T games until I hit 13. And I think it was like when I was like 16, my parents were finally like, fuck it, just shoot the video game guy. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think for me it was like my parents didn't want me to get M games until I was 17, but I was totally just getting M games.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
played M games beforehand. I know my brother had a copy of Vice City in the sock drawer for like 5 years. We were like 13 and he would bust that out and sneak downstairs to the Xbox and play it when nobody was home.
I remember, I actually took that shit very seriously. Whenever someone else was playing a game and I wasn't allowed to play it, like it was actually Vice City, and they're like, "Hey, Brett, do you want to play?" And we were in a cabin with like an outbuilding. We were in the outbuilding, and I was like, I looked over to the other building, like the actual main cabin, and I went, "No, they'll catch me. No, I can't play this, man. What if they come in? What if they know?" And he's like, "Okay,
What?
Jesus.
all right, man. Okay."
What was the name of that Simpsons game where you like ran over
Hit and
people
run.
with Bart?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hit and run.
One
Great
time
game.
when I was really young, my parents like caught my cousin playing that with me. They were not very happy.
Yeah. That was the GTA I was allowed to play, because it really
Yeah.
was just GTA with a Simpsons skin. But it was only rated T, so I got away with it for a while. But the reason I say it's kind of a combination of Diablo 1 and 2 is because eventually, when I was old enough, I got a copy of Diablo 2 for myself because it was one of those things, I only got to play it occasionally since it was at my grandma's, not my own house. So it was one of those things that like you kind of build up this fantasy of what playing it is actually like over the
Oh my
years.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that happens a lot when you're a kid. You only have so much money, or you only get games on your birthday and stuff like that. So you'll look at a game in a magazine or on TV or something and be like, "This must be the most mind-blowing thing ever. It has to be the best game because it looks the coolest."
You'll convince yourself Bubsy 3D is like the peak of video gaming because it's what you have.
Yeah, and then eventually you get it, and it's never as good as you think, or you force yourself to believe it is for a while, and then eventually you realize it's not. Diablo 2 was the one game that was as fucking awesome as I hyped it up to be in my mind for all those years. And it's funny because I bought Diablo 2 on the same day I bought my PlayStation 3. I went into GameStop, and the PlayStation 3 had just come out. I bought a PS3, I bought Resistance Fall of Man, I bought a racing game, and I was like, oh, what? Look at this, Diablo 2, it's only $15? Fuck, I'll buy that too.
Was it Lords of Destruction? Or
it was vanilla. I ended up getting Lord of Destruction like half a year later. But this was in like, I mean, when did the PS3 come out? Like 2006?
2006.
So the game had been out for 6 years.
Yeah.
It's not like it was like cutting edge or anything. The game
wasn't ancient yet.
Yeah, but
like now
even when Diablo 2 came out, graphically it was pretty behind par, honestly.
Yeah.
So it was the kind of thing I looked at it being like, it was kind of like me buying it almost as nostalgia, having never played it. And I thought like, oh, I'll play the PS3, and then I'll probably dabble with Diablo for a bit, but I'm mostly focused on the PS3 because the PS3 is the hot shit. It just came out, cutting edge graphics, mind blowing. I ended up playing Diablo 2 the whole fucking night. I never plugged in the PS3.
PS3 just sat in the corner.
I just played it so much Diablo 2.
That's always a good feeling, though.
Yeah, I couldn't fucking put it down. I ended up plugging in the PS3 the next day, and that was fun as shit as well. Resistance is still a really fun series, but Diablo 2, I love thinking back and being like, man, the 6-year-old game was the one that I couldn't put down while I had this brand new in-the-box PS3 sitting over there. I was just going to fuck around with it for like an hour, and I got sucked right in, which is kind of how those games work, so...
That's a real good story.
Thanks, Brent. I'm great at telling stories.
I've never heard it before.
Yeah,
That would be weird if you had heard that story before and I didn't tell you.
I mean,
Brent
Brent just kind of tells me about, your Diablo life.
Word on the street is Josh likes Diablo.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, I know.
I have a nostalgia game.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I was thinking that I had to go way back.
You don't have to go way back.
Yeah,
Nostalgia is
then you guys
like
were talking about games that were actually...
You could be nostalgic about
So Earth
last
Defense
Monday.
Force.
Mine actually leads into my next topic. If we just want to jump through from there at some point.
I like the way you're working.
Alright.
The flow.
My nostalgia game is Fable 2.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people thought this game was kind of bullshit because they listened to Peter Molyneux and believed him.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to Peter Molyneux and believed him, and then went, okay, I'm never going to do that again, but Fable 2 fucking rules. Like, I don't know what it was. No, I do know what it was. It was the fact that you could perform a very easy task over and over again, get a shitload of gold, buy all the houses, then you could get a shitload of gold all the time, and then go, there's no more houses to buy. Fucking now what? And then along the way you had a hero's journey or some bullshit.
Yeah. Grand Quest, some leveling up and shit. Who cares?
Like,
Nobody really cared about the hero's journey in there. It was kind of about the hookers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about the hookers. For me, it was about getting like 3 or 4 wives and having them in the same town living next to each other.
Yeah, that
Did
was
they
always...
know about one another?
Yes, they
Okay.
go around, they start getting pissed, and every time I would go in, there'd be 2 pairs of them fighting, they'd switch off.
Oh, so this wasn't like polyamory. This was a lot of women putting up with your bullshit.
Yes, and then they all had kids. They all
They
had
all
kids.
hated each other.
They all hated each other. And then every once in a while, I always had them at the highest luxury level, and it cost more money. But sometimes I just put them to fucking destitute whenever I felt
Just
like
cut
it.
them off.
Yeah, it's like, no, you have no money now. And then I'd go there and they'd be in rags and like, do you have any money? And I'm sitting there dressed in these like rich, magnificent clothes. I'm like, fresh up. Sorry. And then I would go buy the house next to them.
Nice. I never had a 360, so despite this being like exactly the kind of game I would have played at the time, I didn't. But like, can you can they get divorces and stuff?
Yes.
If they're mad enough.
But then I would give them gifts, so
you
they
keep
would
them
never get
just happy enough.
You know, that was the year I got my I got my 360. So I also played Fable 2 that year.
Yeah.
So
did you do the same kind of shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I mean, you had
a lot of
the shit.
wives.
And then unfortunately,
Brent.
I played Fable 3 too. So.
Oh yeah.
It's,
Well, speaking of my next subject, I decided to go back to Fable 3.
Oh, really? Okay.
PC version. You turn on VSync and it's locked to 30 FPS. So I'm not playing full screen, I play it windowed so it doesn't fucking tear all the time, because the tearing's awful. Without VSync on, you can get 60 FPS. The game makes my computer run extremely hot for no discernible reason. It takes up about 70% of my CPU, and it's not fucking good. I keep waiting for the game to start. And I've put about 5 hours into this playthrough. And I'm kind of thinking back to my memories. Because, I beat this game twice. Because I was really sick. In the head, I guess, for playing Fable 3 to completion twice.
Yeah.
But also just generally sick.
why would you do that?
I don't know. Why am I doing it again?
Fable 3 is an illness of body and mind.
It's just such a bad game. You get started, and, the first thing your brother does is go, alright, you kill your girlfriend or kill all these people. You make the choice. And it's that's retarded. That's just fucking stupid. That doesn't make any sense.
What is the excuse?
The people, the group of people are, the protest leaders, and your girlfriend's your girlfriend, and he's like, if you think you can make the hard choices, I'm gonna kill your girlfriend or all these people. And it's okay. I don't care about the girlfriend.
Every decision in that game just kind of feels like it's like this almost like a satire of game decisions. It's
Kind
just
of.
it's so thick. It's
It's just the most blunt shortcut to emotional engagement you
Yeah.
can attempt.
That's the thing, is when you decide whether or not to kill your girlfriend, you have talked to her for 5 minutes.
So you don't even really care about her.
no.
And
Other
then no
than-
matter what you choose, sorry,
Got it.
no matter what you choose, you don't see her again for about 15 hours.
Jeez.
So it doesn't matter.
Awesome.
It just doesn't matter. I don't know. It's so bad. It's
It
so
is.
bad. I don't know how, because Fable 2 was awesome. I don't know what the difference is, but Fable 2 just had more interesting shit to me. It had corrupt and purity meters along with good and evil. So you could be pure evil, you could be corrupt evil, you could be pure good, you could be corrupt good.
Is that kind of their equivalent of the D&D alignment of chaotic and lawful? Okay.
Yeah. And that was really cool because my last hero, the one that kind of stuck with me the most, was a good corrupt guy who had an eye patch. And he was just a fucking pirate, and the dude was fucking huge.
So he's basically this charismatic renegade.
Yeah, exactly. He was a really cool character, and I enjoyed playing him a lot. And then in 3, they got rid of the corruptness and purity mechanic.
Yeah, you're just good or evil.
Yeah.
And everyone just ends up being evil because the decisions are just so stupid.
No, it's worse than that. Or wait, hold on. Go on. I want to see exactly what you're talking about.
When I played it the one time, the decisions between the good and evil are just so blatantly stupid that you always pick the evil one.
Yeah.
Because are you gonna build a school or are you gonna build a whorehouse?
Yeah,
I'm gonna build a whorehouse.
That's literally one of them.
That's one of the last
Why
ones.
is building a whorehouse intrinsically evil? Is it
because it's
exploitative?
instead of the orphanage.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
the
it's an
orphans are
orphanage,
just on the
yeah.
screen. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all the orphans could just become whores. They would have money and
Yeah.
they could buy a home.
That's what I was saying. But the thing is, they kind of, I feel halfway through that's unfair, but in development they realize all of these bad decisions are fucking stupid. We gotta come up with a good reason. And so they, halfway through the plot, the whole thing's resistance, and then you overthrow the king. If you care about Fable 3 spoilers, I don't care about you, so whatever.
I was gonna play it next week.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be our next, ooh, no, that would not be a good game club game.
Nope.
Just because I don't want to play it. But, you have the resistance plot. You go through the resistance, and then it's what was your brother fighting so hard to prevent? And it's the darkness or something like
Yeah,
it.
just the fucking shadow people from across the...
Yeah, from across the sea. The shadow people across the sea. You gotta get a lot of money
the
in order
darkness
to
is
fight
kind
them.
of... Yeah, like, this whole time, like, you think that you're like, trying to overthrow your corrupt brother, and then they're just like, oh yeah, he's just a dick because he has to be.
Yeah.
And they couldn't come up with a better antagonist than just objective evil.
No.
Yeah, that was... It wasn't like there was... like pirates coming across the sea. It was just like
that would have been interesting. It's like, oh shit, there's an actual human adversary. But no, it's like pure evil is coming to your shores. And now what are you gonna do? It's like, well, I'm gonna fucking do the blacksmithing minigame until I have all the money to make all the good choices and still get the best ending. That's what I'm gonna do. And that's what I did.
Yep.
And it took about 20 hours. Because like the whole idea is the bad decisions get you a lot more money, so you don't have to give a shit.
Which kind of makes sense.
Yeah, if only they were more interesting.
Yeah, if
intrinsically.
you can just like get a shit ton of gold by like going and like performing a skill or something like
Yeah.
If it actually if it actually created ambivalence in the player, that would be interesting. But if it's just like, oh fuck nuance, then why bother?
I mean, it depends on your on your endurance for bullshit, because it did take a long fucking time for me to get all the money to get the good ending, while still getting a good ending.
As I remember, some of the things you could do to make money were like...
it's blacksmithing, making pies,
Yeah.
and playing loot. And that's the other thing. I believe in Fable 2 the minigames were different. In Fable 3 they're all the same fucking thing. They're
Really?
Yeah,
You
there's
do the
just
same
different
thing?
dressing.
You do the same thing to make a pie as you do to make...
Yes.
Okay.
You hit A, X, or Y.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's like a Guitar Hero. Like,
Yeah, every single one of them,
Oh,
including
those
the
are
one
always
called
fun.
Loot Hero. There's one called Loot Hero.
Jesus.
For some reason, I thought there was a way with that game that you could basically not actually be looking at the screen to make... I thought you could, like... I'm trying to remember...
No.
Okay, something else
Well,
where you just...
there were patterns. So, like,
Okay.
You could just memorize.
I think-
kind of.
I think at one point I was trying to make a shit ton of money. I just kind of...
You have the housing thing. So, like, you can just leave it running and get money from your houses.
That was it. Yep.
Yeah.
I did one of those things where it was like, well, just, you know...
Bought every single house in the fucking game, set them to the lowest rent because I wanted to stay good, and it took about 20 hours. Wow, this ended up going on a little bit longer than I thought.
I mean, it was
Fuck
like your
Fable 3.
segment and your segment of my segment, so it's like a double segment.
Okay, yeah, that's so I can continue. Okay, so Fable 3 is one of 3 games that I've been playing in the last week or so. The other one is World of Warcraft, which I have inexplicably been drawn into for the first time.
Just now, in the year of our Lord, 2016, you're getting into World of Warcraft.
I'm like, huh. Like, I was playing it, and I was like, level 10, and I'm like, this fucking sucks. I knew this was gonna fucking suck. And then, now I'm level 50, and I'm just like, nah, whatever.
WoW thing's pretty addictive.
I just listen to Modest Mouse, because, like, it's after a certain point, it's almost easier to go on than to stop.
That
I
sounds
think that's
healthy.
an addiction.
Yeah, like, it's just like, well, this is simple. My credit card debt is not simple, but this is simple. I can just do this. I can just sell gold. Fuck it.
Like, okay,
Do you
So
need to
I
talk to
thought-
somebody, Brett?
I kind of thought the golden days of WoW were over.
No, they actually just revamped the entire combat system.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it's a little bit more like Terra now, apparently. I don't know, because the last time I played it was in, like, 2007. It was during Burning Crusade, the second expansion, and they're on expansion 7 or some shit.
Okay, so you did play it before, you just didn't enjoy it really?
Well, I guess like level 30.
Okay, so you didn't stick with it.
No.
Now it hooked you.
Yeah, now it's kind of hooked me, because it's easier now. Like,
Yeah,
it feels more like Diablo.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, every time they release an expansion, they basically make the pathway up to the expansion content trivial as fuck. Whereas before, that was the content you were actually supposed to be, like, that was your meat and potatoes. Now they're just like, ah, fuck that shit, it's awful. We just came out with some new shit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that, like, this is pretty much old news to anyone who's ever played World of Warcraft, but when they did Cataclysm, that big expansion, they like changed up a lot of the early zones.
Yeah.
And it feels like a ROM hack. Like, it feels
In what
like
sense?
like you're walking through Westfall, You know, just like this kind of plains, it's like the breadbasket kind of desert town. Mm-hmm. Well, that's all completely contradictory. It's a desert town. And then all of a sudden there's just a huge fucking tornado in the middle, and it's like spewing out bits of rock, and there's a huge gulch where something else used to be, and you're just like, that doesn't look like it's made by Blizzard. Or like there's another one where it's just like a rainy forest. You know, the rain patters against the leaves, and you look up and there's a huge volcano. And you're like, huh, okay.
So does it feel like there's like a really intense contrast between what is clearly the old content and what is clearly the new content?
For every zone that they did this kind of stuff in, they revamped all the content.
Okay, so there's no remnants really of the old stuff in the Cataclysm affected zones.
Yeah, like maybe a little bit, but I wouldn't be able to pick them out.
Yeah.
The content does seem a lot more interesting. Like there's one zone where you're kind of following a caravan the whole way through, and they got their own little quips. Oh, and one thing that I was sincerely impressed by in WoW is that, you know, like the main problem I had with MMOs was just like, no matter what quest you do, nothing changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't fucking matter. World of Warcraft has somehow changed this, and I have no idea what the fuck they did. But now the quests you do affect the stages of battles and shit.
Really?
Yeah, there's one city where, like, as you go through the quest, you clear it out of enemies. Mm-hmm. And then later you come back, and there's, like, the enemies are back, but then you clear them out again, and then Valkyries are coming down from the sky. You gotta kill all the Valkyries, and then once you do that, you kill the boss, and then you leave, and, like, there's not even a quest, but if you go back later, all the Alliance people are dead this time. You just lost. Like, off-screen, and I was sitting there, I was just like, how does this work?
Like, is it like, huh?
I know, right?
Player or what?
Huh?
I don't understand.
Instance?
No, it's just in the world. Like,
well,
no instances.
It must be.
It's got to be something like it.
It's got to be like a synthesis of instance to non-instance. Like from your perspective, it looks that way, and there are still other players in the area. But from their perspective, it looks the old way.
Well, that's the thing is I never run into people fighting invisible enemies and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, it's super weird.
Interesting.
Like, and that happens a few times. Like, you're kind of slowly, like, all the quests and in some areas are just you slowly building a foothold against the enemy. More NPCs start coming in, more shops and all that.
Maybe you're playing a simulated MMO where everyone else was a computer, right?
It would be hard to say because I'm playing on the EU side because that's where my friends are.
Yeah, your friends, your computers.
They are. But they're all I have. I don't have any real friends.
Did I just say was? But they built up a whole like a group of computers that can talk to you, Brett.
That seems like a pretty significant waste.
Yeah, all this. I don't know how much you spent, but they like
they're
simulating
£7.50, I think you call it.
Have you ever heard of the Truman Show?
I could see it. Yeah.
The Brett Show.
The Brett Show.
It's just the back of your head with the light of your monitor pouring around the edges.
Just, like you can see the anime reflecting off my glasses. So I was sitting there with a blank stare, just like
it's mostly stationary, but every once in a while you rub your eye or something like that.
Yeah, or like I just sigh.
That's
millions around the world are tuning in.
Lonesome and Crowded West plays on loop 17 times.
I saw this one thing once where some people set up a bunch of webcams and you could just like control little things in their room. And I thought it'd be really cool, right? You like turn on lights with like certain commands and you like turn fans on and off. But these two people are sitting in the room, headphones on, staring at their computers. No reaction, things are changing around the room and they're just like, you're getting paid for this.
What kind of thing are you changing?
You're just like turning the lights on and off and like messing with like fans and all this other things.
That's weird.
It's like...
And they just ignore it?
Yeah. So like...
I wonder if that would get you more viewers or less.
It's like, nah, this'll trick them. This time I'll turn the lights on and off. Whew!
Well, But then you can't even tell if you're the one that turned the lights on or off.
Oh,
because everyone else is doing it.
Oh,
it's just like a fucking rave.
Yeah, basically. I was really disappointed.
It sounds like shit.
But it sounds similar to what you're on now.
Oh, that's good. Well, I have one more game. How are we on time? Are we okay?
We're good.
Okay. This game is kind of out of left field. I guess I'm just going back to the past, but I'm playing Xenogears.
What is Xenogears?
I don't know this game.
Do you guys know Xenosaga?
No.
I don't know this game.
Anyone who knows Xenogears knows that this is about to take a lot of explaining.
Sit right back!
Alright,
I can only really explain
Let me remind
it.
you about the show notes.
What is the genre of this game?
It's a JRPG. The first... its budget was completely devoured by Final Fantasy VIII, and it has a really ambitious, very, very strange plot. And so the entire second disc is basically just people sitting in a chair and narrating what would have happened if they had their budget. Which is kind of fucking awesome.
Didn't that happen to, like, Evangelion or something like that, too?
Yeah, like, that has
a common thing of just, like, instead of, like...
It's the easiest way to get past budget problems.
Yeah, instead of rewriting to accommodate our budget, let's just tell them what we would have done.
Oh, it happened late in the game, though.
Yeah.
It happened, like, halfway through development, and then Final Fantasy VIII was just like, our game's gonna be so much better.
We found all this money just sitting around for nothing. Let's put it to Final Fantasy VIII.
It says Xenogears on it.
It means nothing to me.
Probably doesn't need it.
Yeah.
But Xenogears is actually really fun. You play it, the main character is named Fei Fong Wang,
Rolls right off the
which
tongue.
is a cool name. And it's funny because his last name's Wong, like Wang.
God, Brent.
It's like Wang and... Okay, never mind.
Daily
like a
reminder that Brett is our access to coolness.
See? There you go. And, shit. It's got a really good combat system. I'm enjoying it.
Is it turn-based or active time battle?
It's turn-based, but you kind of put in combos.
How so?
Like you have these things called death blows, and it's like if you
I would agree.
You start an
Death
attack, yes, death blows indeed. You start an attack, and square is a light attack. You press attack, you can do triangle is a light attack, square is medium attack, X is heavy attack.
That's backwards as fuck.
Yeah, that's why I said it the wrong way first.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you can make combos with them, but you start out with only 3 action points. By the end of the game, I think you get like 18 or some crazy shit.
So every turn you can have 18 combinations of X, square, and triangle?
Yes.
So you queue up?
But like
the
X
combo?
takes 3 of them. Yes, X takes 3 of them. Square takes 2. Triangle takes 1.
Okay.
And so some of them activate special moves, like that you unlock after using certain attacks. Like it's very interesting and it's very fun.
Do you have like a time limit to put in your moves?
I'm not certain.
Okay.
I haven't run into a point because I'm still like I just got to 4 moves, so it's like
I'm imagining you have like a wiki page up and you're like triangle.
oh no, it gives
Square.
it gives you all the things.
Oh, it does. Okay.
It tells you and like
You
if
press
you
select to pull the move list.
no if you hit like one of them is triangles X, and so if you hit triangle it'll be like to activate X death blow hit X.
Okay, so anytime you're potentially starting a combo, it'll tell you.
Does it have like an autocomplete thing, basically?
It doesn't have an autocomplete. You always have to hit the buttons. But
Oh, okay.
it's fun and it makes the turn-based stuff feel a little bit more punchy.
Cool.
Which is cool because they all use combat.
Yeah.
And the plot, I've seen the plot before. I watched or read a screenshot Let's Play of it.
Mm-hmm.
He's shaking his head right now.
And I have no idea what happens. I'm literally playing through it and I'm just like, I know that one dude's shady and that's it. I don't remember any else of this shit because all I remember is just like the Great Mother and the Goddess and Reincarnation and Gosha and Gnosis and like the girl he fucks was originally his mom and...
So what I'm understanding is this is a video game in which you roleplay that was made in Japan.
Yes.
And it's a little hard to follow?
Extremely. Like
Makes
I
perfect
have
sense.
I have made fun
Weird.
of other games for being hard to understand, but Xenogears is actually at like the literary level of just like what?
So yeah, do you feel like it's poorly written, or do you feel
No, it's
like...
very well written.
So-
It's interesting in how weird it is.
Okay.
So maybe you're just not like you're a plebe, basically.
Yes.
Do you feel like there is also like a simultaneous like an intuitive appreciation you can have? Like, are there fun character
The characters
moments?
are fun.
Okay.
It's not all just like high-minded video games are art.
Okay.
Like
so
the
you
Faye's fun. Other people are fun.
people are fun.
It's interesting. Like I've
I
only
like
really met
humans.
Faye. Keep thinking like the porn star Faye. Like, like that would be a great protagonist for a game.
I'm
wouldn't it?
sure somebody's made that crossover on their DeviantArt page.
Pornhub.exe.
Wait, I think you might have a virus, Brent.
No, that's how
No.
you get it on Pornhub. It gives you a link to the site.
It's like
I just
way
have-
worse than splitscreen.exe.
Just have to call Windows Help Service.
Yeah.
We fell for that.
Tell them your password, the last word in voicemail.
Yep.
We actually fell for that, and it cost us a lot of money. And I say we, but really it was me tearfully begging my grandpa to please click the helpful ad
Jesus.
that had popped up
That's
on our
why your
desktop.
grandpa gets you fucking potato salad.
That's why I think he was very glad when I bought my own PC.
Yeah. He's like,
It's
you
like-
can't fuck my shit up anymore.
Every 2 or 3 months, I would be like, guys, the computer's fucked up, but I'm fixing it. And I really just shouldn't have told them anything.
Surprisingly, I never really got into that much technical trouble as a kid with computers. I guess I just kind of intuited what was janky and what I could trust.
You had a brain, and I was literally on a Star Wars Galaxies forum, and one of the topics was, go here for free sex porn. And I was like,
sex porn. The
What?
best kind of porn.
I've heard of this sex porn, and I think I'm supposed to like it. Okay. Like, so I'm still
And
at
it
that
was
age.
free.
And
I don't know.
I remember the link, if anyone's interested. It was puadre.com,
How do you spell that?
puadre.com, and I downloaded a file off there, and that computer was gone.
What was the file name?
It was literally a .exe, and it was supposed to be a
Puadre.exe.
movie. And I clicked on it anyway.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping.
This is just me, like, this whole, like, segment has just been me going back, like, yep, I made a mistake there. Yep.
That's what nostalgia is.
Welcome to Shareware, where we retread Brett's failings as a human being. Past, present, and future.
Oh, and future.
Yeah, well,
You
That
think, he's
could be
gonna, you think
helpful.
he's gonna fail in the future?
when we do
Jeez.
Jet Set Radio Future.
Oh, fuck that. I'm done. Alright.
Do you have any other thoughts on Xenogears?
I would say, like, the music is fucking great. Like, the music's excellent. The graphics are not that bad. You can kind of... If you ever played PS1 games as a kid, you can kind of lean back and go like, okay, yeah, sure, take me away. Because all the characters are sprite-based, and polygons are used sparingly and usually to an acceptable effect.
That's usually how you get the best aesthetics out of that generation of systems. So.
Best, not good, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing another sprite-based game as well, Starbound, which just finally...
Oh, I forgot that you had a segment left. I'm so sorry.
Oh, we're going to Josh's segment now?
Yeah,
Oh,
shit.
that was so smooth, I didn't even know we were moving.
Well,
I'm
good thing
genuinely
you came
sorry.
in here to disrupt the smoothness.
Good thing there's a big shoat sitting right
You
here.
just like threw a walnut
Josh's
into a
segment.
pat of butter.
I forgot that when you talked, it was part of Brent's segment. And so I was just like, okay, I'm done, so Game Club.
Well, before we get to the game club, and-
Josh's segment begins.
Here, now. Please continue with your segment.
I have played video game entitled Share
Cast.
Sharecast.
Starbound. You probably have all heard of it, right?
I've seen it before.
I've played it.
Familiar, at least?
And
Okay.
I am left completely baffled by that game. I don't even know whether or not I like it, which usually ends with me liking it a lot.
I don't quite remember what it is. I remember it has a title, Starbound.
So Starbound is the artist of Terraria and a separate team of designers and coders making a game very much in the genre of Terraria. It is your kind of like side-scrolling survival, crafting, mining, building type of game.
Pretty much everyone thought it was a sequel, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, when I say it's the same artist, I mean it's the literally exact same art style and everything. Like, it really does look like it could be a Terraria spin-off, but it's totally different company that makes it. They just got the same artist as Terraria. But the twist is that it takes place in the future, in space, and as opposed to like joining different servers with different seeds, you have like every planet is its own seed essentially. So all the biomes are different. It's kind of like Star Wars methodology of planets, where every planet kind of has one biome to it, more or less.
It's like a desert.
There's the desert planet. There's the lava planet. That kind of thing. That's not always
Lava
true.
planet.
Yeah, that's not a
cool planet.
It's a cool
It
planet.
is a pretty cool planet.
It's got the cool S on it.
Until you die. But that's not always true. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 biomes, but typically
I
speaking,
thought you were going to say sometimes they're not cool.
sometimes lava's fucking boring. Let's be honest.
When it's cold,
What'd you
generally.
say?
When lava's cooling, it gets a little bit boring.
We're not talking about rock planets. We're talking about fucking lava planets.
Exactly.
So I'm assuming the reason you've heard of Starbound is because it has been floating around early access for like going on 2 years now.
Yeah.
Like it pops in and out of Steam sales and that kind of thing.
Yeah, you always kind of like see it on the page. You're like, "What's that?" And then you kind of like look at it for a second and you keep going.
Yeah, it's always one of those things that's like, oh, they added more plants to it. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. See you again in a year.
What's that mean?
Yeah. So I actually bought Starbound like pretty much right when it came out because I'm a pretty big fan of survival games and crafting in general. I have like 70 hours in Terraria. I played a fair amount of Minecraft, but that didn't grab me as much. DayZ, that kind of thing, really connect with me.
Yeah, DayZ, how's that doing?
Not as well as Starbound. But that's kind of what I want to talk about is Starbound. I probably put like 3 hours into it when I first got it, and I was like, okay, I'm not fucking touching this. I know I'm going to like this when it comes out, but right now there's not enough to it, and I don't want to get burnt out on it.
So what changed to make you play now?
Well, it hit 1.0, and it's an actual game now.
A real game!
Yeah,
A real game!
instead of just a sandbox, which, you know, these kind of things can go a lot of different ways. We've seen from, like, space-based DS9 and that kind of thing that sometimes they just fucking abandon it. That was the
the
Double Fine space
I don't-
management sim.
It was the Double Fine Space Management Sim, Brent.
They just abandoned it like 2/3 of the way through development. They're like, nobody bought it, so we're not going to keep making it.
Kickstarter? More like Kickstarter.
Yeah, essentially. But this game actually fucking came together. So the kind of thing that I think really makes it coalesce into something worth spending time on is that there is like a very much WoW style questing system now. Like,
So I can hit level 50 without any effort and then continue grinding?
well, actually, I don't even think there are character levels now that I think about it. But essentially, the hook is loot. There's loot now. And there are missions that actually give you a reason to explore instead of just, I want to build cool buildings, which is fun, but I think we've all done that in a lot of games, and we don't always necessarily just want to do that in new games.
It's always better before you finally built it.
Yeah.
Like, because you think about walking around your cool castle, and it's like, well, this castle is cool. Took me about 50 hours to make.
And it's not real.
And it's not real.
Yeah.
And the view isn't very good.
Yeah, that was always my problem in Minecraft, is I'd build something, I'd be like, cool!
And it's like, now what?
Okay.
And
Yeah, I
that's
wanted there to be like siege machines.
That's kind of the beauty of Starbound, is that you build the thing that you're fantasizing about, and then you're like, oh yeah, I've got like 5 other quests to do, and they're all going to lead me to some weird arcane planet full of crazy bullshit that I can mine and then retrofit onto my own castle and turn into this weird hodgepodge of like 50 different alien civilizations.
So that sounds awesome. The problem I'm having with it currently is just that getting started seems to be like a major problem.
It depends on how tightly you follow the quest, and I guess this is one criticism I have of it. I only have about 15 hours in so far, so I'm not deep in enough to say, like, this is an amazing game, top of its class. But I know at this point I've gotten my money's worth. I think the game is like $15 at this point, and
So $1 1 hour?
Yeah, crazy. But like, this is definitely the kind of game I can see myself putting dozens more hours into, especially because it's a really good game to like have a TV show on the other monitor or listen to music or a podcast or something.
Man, I can't do that because I keep getting fucking murdered.
If you want something to play while you listen to Shareware, Starbound is a great game to do that with because.
Or WoW.
Yeah,
because you don't have to think. It's really nice.
Do you have to think to listen to our podcast?
No.
Okay.
I hope not.
So really, you're just like no thoughts at that
No.
point. You just kind of
just a
listen.
shell.
In my freelance writing, I am asked to know a lot of weird shit, and I've been thinking of just going on like woodworking podcasts and just listening to those while I work, and just getting a lot of esoteric knowledge because a lot of it is retarded. I wrote a blog post about sex toys.
Nice. Were you pro sex toy in the blog post? Or?
Yeah, they were like, just write about sex toys, be fun, be catty, and I'm like, I don't know.
You want to fuck plastic?
Get some dildos, bro. Get some dildos. Go fuck yourself with the dildos. It's gonna be a great time. You and your dildos. Get some vibrators in there. You know, get some fucking, get some. Zzz.
This shit moves left and right real fast. Put it in your butt.
Hell yeah. Well, put it in your vagina, man. It's all good. It's all good.
Put it right in your dick.
Put it in the cooch. Put it on your dick. Fuck your dick with a dick. There you go, baby. That's magic.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's the
Signed
magic of
Brent.
Starbound.
and that's the magic of Starbound. So Starbound's the game I'll listen to, or whatever.
I'll listen to Starbound while I play Shareware, right?
Yep, exactly. But yeah, having procedurally generated weapons and that kind of thing drop at the end of quests gives me something to look forward to in the downtime between like kind of creative sparks, which is kind of always the falling off point for these kinds of sandbox games for me. Is you make some big creation and then you're kind of like out of it for a little bit. You don't have another idea right off the top of your head, and then it's like, what the fuck am I doing? This isn't fun, really.
And then you go into like the redstone shit if you're really crazy, or if
Yeah.
you're like me, you just go,
And there's a wiring system in this too, if you want to like wire up motion sensors for all your doors and stuff and make a bunch of intricate crap. I'm not into that because, frankly, I'm too zoned out when I'm playing this kind of game.
Because you're too busy making a calculator, right?
Yeah, I'm building 3D printers.
this
and
can go to base 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
Science.
Base 10.
But I do have... We have somebody else taking care of the wiring on our base. And it's also... it's a good social game because you just have somebody set up a server and just have people coming in and out and just throwing shit onto your massive base.
Actually, it is a terrible social game because Grayson will keep coming up to you when you're trying to do serious shit and just play his guitar poorly.
Yeah, there's a couple of ways you control people, but largely I've had more fun with it in groups.
I
Are
guess
you trying to tell us to play Starbound?
I don't like playing
Is that what you're
loot-based
trying to say?
games. I don't like playing loot-based games with other people because it drives me nuts. Because I always want to go full efficiency, but not all the time. But it changes on like a minute-to-minute basis whether or not I'm being like full like, guys, shut the fuck up. We're trying to get loot.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Loot
Then
hero.
why are you selling things?
Well, that's a big part of why I like it as a multiplayer game, because you can make it so many different things depending on what mood you're in, and nobody has to be doing the same thing at once. So you can, and that's the beauty of like being in a fucking universe, is if you want to just go grind out quests, you could be thousands of light years away, and I'll have nothing to do with you while I'm just like farming and
That's
shit.
my idea of a social game.
Yeah, but you can still like chat to people and ask, like, while you're out there doing quests, be like, hey, you guys want me to keep an eye out for anything? Like, are you looking for doors or something? Like, I'm going to these bases. I'll pick up all the like power cells I find. And meanwhile, the people back at home are like making up like a shopping list for you, basically, while you're out questing.
I want to get some lettuce, a power plant, some cheese, taco.
So then you just kind of meet up when you feel like it?
Yeah, or you go on quests together, do stuff simultaneously. There's boss fights and that kind of thing. There's like lots of combat-focused missions. There's lots of like just like hide-and-seek stuff, just like finding weird bullshit you have to collect. My one problem with it is that there's this... So kind of like the main quest line thus far, the general structure is that you are basically going out on errands for this like anthropologist who's like studying all the different species, which on one hand is a great format because it basically gives you justification to go to every different planet type and introduce yourself to all the different species.
Wait.
And learn about them.
Josh, are you playing Pokemon?
I'm not catching
Pokemon
and
Go
enslaving
too.
them. Although you can enslave NPCs and you can get like minions and stuff like that. We have about like 10 NPCs hanging out at our base with varying degrees of freedom.
Okay, this is starting to seem more like my shit. I can have the Fable 2 wife situation again.
Kinda, yeah. And they've all got their own different personalities, and sometimes the people that like live in your base will have quests and that kind of stuff too, so you don't have to like go out and find
Like,
shit.
I want a hearth. I want to be able to be warm at night. And it's like, denied.
Filled your room with lava. Request granted. But the missed opportunity of this, in my mind, is that they don't actually tell you anything about the species when you're going out and investigating them. So like, you have like this scan tool where you'll click on an object and your character will like make an observation about it. And usually sometimes it's interesting stuff, sometimes it's just like, that's a rock. But you'll also get little things about like, oh, this is like some ancestral totem or something like that. When you're going on these quests though, the anthropologist is just, she marks like 10 items that are critical. She's like, this is how we understand the Floran culture. Those are the plant people. Go to this Floran encampment on this like jungle planet way out in the middle of nowhere and run through their base and scan these 10 things that I highlighted as green. And every time you scan them, she goes, ah, yes, this confirmed a suspicion I had. Or like, ah, very intriguing. This tells me a lot about the lineage of this culture. And it's like,
Doesn't tell me shit.
why don't you tell me what it tells you about the lineage? Like, I'm kind of
Apparently,
curious.
these are plants.
Like,
Yeah, I guess that would make it more like, I don't know, you'd be more invested in it if
Yeah.
you knew what you were learning.
And like that, the reason I say that is because Starbound lets you just say fuck that and not pay attention to it. But why not give me the option to pay attention to some lore if I want to? Like, I'm kind of engaged, I'm curious, fucking tell me something about these cultures instead of just like mindless fluff, because in this case, literally all it is just a pixel hunt.
It'd be
I'm just
cool if it
walking
was, like-
through a village and clicking on all the green things.
It'd be cool if it was like Dwarf Fortress, where it just made its shit up.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And they don't even have to go that far. If they just had this canned info about the cultures that was the same every time, I would still be curious about it, because like, they do have a semblance of a story in there now. When the game first came out, you literally just create a character and it drops you down onto a planet. It's like, figure shit out. Now there's a proper intro with like you meeting the characters and stuff, but then they don't extend that into like actual world building. So I'm a little bit bummed about that.
So this game sucks.
Basically, this game blows. I want my money back.
Yeah, things have been kind of going, things Josh liked, things Josh liked, things Josh didn't like as much. Okay, some of this kind of sucks.
This game's made of AIDS.
Yeah.
You will get Zika if you play this game.
That's true.
That's what Josh likes.
Yeah, I'm a big Zika fan.
Zika fan 69.
Yeah. Hashtag Olympics.
Oh, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah?
The IOC says you can't have Olympics in your tweets.
Really?
What?
Well, if you're a sponsor.
Oh, okay.
Like, if you're not the main sponsor of an Olympian, you cannot wish them luck.
What?
Yeah, you can't be like, good luck at the Olympics, person I've been supporting from the beginning.
Is that enforceable? Like, is Twitter, like, yeah, this
Twitter's going with it.
Jesus.
So just other, like, big companies can't do it? Other sponsors? Or
No,
like,
only big companies who have presumably paid the IOC off.
so like, if I said, hey, good
You
luck,
can
Mike.
say it.
Okay. 'Cause
But
nobody's
not
gonna-
if you're like, let's say that an Olympian was sponsored by Mike's Hearty Meats or something,
Mhm.
but they were all like Mike's Hearty Meats would not be able to tweet them going, "Good luck at the Olympics. We've been supporting you from the beginning," because then like
Okay.
they're not
like,
Nike.
They're not the prime sponsor.
Yeah.
Jesus, that is fucked up.
Yep. You also like you can't advertise based on being in Rio.
This Olympics seems like the biggest mess it's ever been, and it's always kind of a big one.
Oh
Yeah,
God, this
this-
one's the worst.
The
some
Russia
guy
thing?
had. The Sochi was better than this because people weren't getting like deadly diseases from the water.
No, I'm talking about the Russia thing here.
Oh,
where,
yeah.
They almost ban all athletes.
Well, they almost did, and then at the last second went, actually, no, we're going to let all these random people, like, every individual event will have to judge them, and it's like, in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I've only heard like 2 or 3 that are actually allowing people from Russia to go there.
It's like, they were all doping.
Jesus. Well, Starbound is much less of a mess than this current Olympics. It actually turned into a cohesive, fun experience, so...
I will be giving it several more tries.
Wait, you don't think the Olympics is going to turn into a cohesive, fun experience?
I think somebody's going to get killed.
Yeah, who knows. But, only the people that need to be killed are killed in Starbound. So, I like it so far. I'm having a lot of fun
Everyone
with
is
it.
in us.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to put some more time into it, watching stuff on the side and that kind of thing. Anytime I got free time, it's a good time killer. It's a good game to jump
Do you
into.
get more armor?
Yeah, there's lots of like crafting tiers and that kind of thing.
Okay,
You get more
'cause-
complex minerals, you build more complex outfits.
Because, like, I die in, like, 3 hits, and I don't know how you can do anything other than pay full attention to the game at this point.
Yeah, the combat's a little hard at the beginning, but you get a few things and you're off your feet
I could use a
pretty
gun.
fast. We got a chest in the base full.
Well, Darian gave me a gun, but it was a grenade launcher that did no damage and took 5 seconds to explode.
Random name drops, random name drops.
All right, I'll hook you up with something tonight.
Oh, yeah, alright.
All right. Before we move on to the game club, we have a letter actually. to
What?
answer. Yeah,
A letter or an email?
an email.
Okay.
It's not a handwritten letter. That would
Wow, we have an email. I didn't even bother to check this time, so it's not Brett verified.
I would get a PO box, but I don't think we're gonna
That
get
would
any
be
letters.
worthless.
So,
That would be so
I always
bad.
wanted a P.O. box.
Yeah.
Just so
So I could use it for my freelancing shit.
yeah. But what we did get was an email from Grayson, which is titled "A Question."
Oh boy.
So very very aptly named.
He's always
Very
got these.
utilitarian.
He's always got these questions.
Yeah, I
Why doesn't
know.
he have any answers for us?
I know.
You should answer some of our questions.
What's up with these inquiries?
Like, Grayson, why? Answer that.
Just why?
why?
Well, what he asked why is... Well, he actually asked what. Other than Bad Rats and Bad Rats Show, what is the worst game you have ever played? This is a
That
hard
is a
one.
tall order.
Can we talk
I
about-
played a lot of really bad games.
I guess the
There's-
first question I have is, do we count Flash games?
No.
Because then it just becomes too difficult to answer.
Well,
I
then it
only
beca-
played the good ones.
I feel like there's a whole like sea of Flash games that I don't even remember that were terrible that I clicked out of in like
10 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah, just like...
Well, actually, I got a perfect
Zero.
segue. The worst game I ever played was... Jet Set No.
Okay.
That was just me doing a bit.
Alpha Protocol.
Fuck off. That game was amazing, and you know it.
In terms of shooting controls, it might be up there.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I did enjoy a lot.
The gamer does
I
I mean,
Like, there's so many shitty fucking games that I've played. I don't know what the worst one is.
Probably, I mean, I guess I've played a little bit of Sonic 06, which is kind of a shoe-in. But
Yeah.
also, even... I know this might be a slightly controversial statement, but as someone who has played the Master System Sonic games, Sonic has always been bad.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
thing that some people aren't willing to admit, is that Sonic has not gotten bad. Sonic has just not continued to get good as video games have enhanced. Like, I have never enjoyed a Sonic game in all my years of...
like Josh, I think there's a mob outside.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, a mob full of like 3 people.
Yes, the
Who,
three.
the 3 that are able to drag themselves out of their fucking lazy boy, where the fat floats over it.
And they're
They
all
just-
dressed as Shadow.
Jeez, that
Shadow
was
the
scary.
Hedgehog is the one good Sonic game because it has 700 different endings.
Really?
Well, they're just different orders in which you get main endings, but they're all named shit differently. It's like Sublimation of Darkness, Thoroughput of Darkness.
What the fuck?
And Jellicoe of Darkness, like, that's not real, but...
Yeah.
Like, there's a video online where a guy just reads through every single one of them, and it's all good.
Wasn't there a Shadow the Hedgehog television show?
No. He was in
God,
Sonic
I don't
X,
know.
I think.
Yeah, he's probably shown up in every Sonic show at some point or another because he brings the edge.
Gotta go faster, faster, faster. That's all I remember.
Oh, my worst game. So I'm just gonna pick a game I played it, well, with Grayson, because he always shows me terrible games.
Yeah, that sounds right.
We played a game once called Over 9,000 Zombies.
Uh,
I don't know where this young Grayson fellow found this game, but it was bad.
Just
You
straight trash.
Yeah, you just like it's like a twin stick shooter where you just you walked around and you killed zombies and you tried to protect the house and you built barriers and stuff, but it just went on forever.
Jeez.
And like everything about it was just kind of bad. And Grayson and I played it for like probably an hour and a half. So thanks for being my worst game experience ever, Grayson.
Jeez.
like, for
That's
me, this question is kind of on the same tier as the, like, what is the one game you'd want to play for the rest of your life question. Like, it's
Too much.
too much. It's unanswerable. Grayson, for fuck's sake.
I guess
The worst gaming experience I've ever had? You think
Worst-
I wouldn't block that out?
worst game you've played, to
Well,
be fair.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't terrible sitting and playing the game with Grayson. It was just a bad game.
Grame.
Bad game.
Grame son.
I guess
I
one
can't
way
even say a game.
a way I could make that question a little easier on myself is, in retrospect, a game that I played a lot of and liked, but it was actually bad. Star Wars Demolition. I don't know if any of you guys
Holy
are familiar
shit.
with this.
I have nothing.
Star Wars Demolition is the Star Wars car combat game. It is a very
I kind of
Yes!
It is a very crude ripoff of the Twisted Metal series. Came out on the PlayStation 1. I probably have 100 hours of playtime in Star Wars Demolition because I was at that age where anything with Star Wars in it was a great game in my book.
Shadows of the Empire, you ever play that?
No, I did not.
N64 third-person shooter.
Oof.
Yeah.
N64 anything shooter, other than GoldenEye, it was very seminal, blah, blah, blah.
Well,
Yeah, how come
no,
we never hit
GoldenEye
GoldenEye?
sucks. GoldenEye's not fun to play.
GoldenEye was like a step forward from awfulness to like
Acceptability.
the fringes of acceptability.
How
Yeah.
come we never hit GoldenEye on our nostalgia trip?
Because
I didn't. I was too busy playing Banjo Kazooie to give a shit about GoldenEye.
Oh, yeah.
Great fucking game.
Banjo-Kazooie
Anyone
so
who
good.
says otherwise is a damn fool. Collectathon was and is a great genre.
Worst game ever.
oh yeah, that could be my worst game ever.
What?
Donkey Kong 64.
Oh,
I beat that game.
really?
I beat it. I have no idea how, because I was the least patient person. I think it took me 2 years, and that's in kid time. Like, that is like
a
6 to 8
long-ass
years
time.
old.
Game club, game club, game club.
Oh god, it's a Game Club
Right.
siren.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
the Game
We are
Club-
delivered.
The Game Club wagon is here to take us away and lock us up forever. So we'll be back after a short break.
Jet Set Radio!
He only does that like once.
Listen to the music, listen to the music, listen to the music, listen to the music. Yes. Not bad, I don't think they're bad.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to end with a game.
Oh shit, we're recording.
Yeah.
Hello.
Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, that's exactly how he said it. Get that radio.
Jet Set Radio.
Well, Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, that one's a keeper. So we played Jet Set Radio. This is the Game Club. Part 3 of the Jet Set Radio Game Club, in fact. And we finished it, finally.
Well, finally, I only spent like 4 hours on this game, but it felt like...
You only had 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
more
better
than
than
that.
I am. I had 6 total.
Oh, sorry, I'm
I'm
drinking
bad at
water.
video games.
Yeah, that's...
I'm almost done, though.
Okay. Remember what I was saying the other
There we
week
go.
about all the noises you make when you're drinking?
Nah, I don't care about that. You're fine. Yeah, you're fine, right, people? Yeah, you're good. Alright.
So Josh, did you have something to add about Starbound quick before we start it?
Oh, yeah. I actually forgot to mention, Starbound also has workshop support. There's a lot of really good mods for it, like interface overhauls and convenience
Sex
stuff.
mod.
Do you have a favorite mod?
There's one that has a DPS calculation for all the weapons. It just multiplies the attack rate by the damage per hit, which
Okay.
is just, it's convenient.
That sounds-
That's what most of them are, is just like, oh, this is nice. I don't have to do math, or I don't have to move interface elements myself, or this takes less time.
Oh yeah, and you can play on a modded server without the mods if you want a bad experience, but a playable one.
Yeah, it has pretty decent, support for not everybody having the same mods, which sometimes is
there's
a
a
big issue.
checkbox you can do. It's just like, hey, I know our versions are different, but fuck it.
Yeah, we'll roll with it.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about Starbound.
We're here to talk about Jet Set Radio, baby.
And we start on Chapter 3, The Golden Rhinos, in which,
In which you fuck up and accidentally do a free roam course in its completion before doing one of the actual missions.
oh, how was that?
I got practice.
That's good.
Did you learn some
Get
things?
you in the zone,
Yeah.
get you in the grinding mindset.
Well, this was actually just before we went for our little drinking rampage, which we did, and we have fun. We have fun.
We have fun.
We have fun.
We're fun.
Outside of this podcast, we actually hang out. It's really
You
weird.
wouldn't think it, because we clearly indicate such deep-seated hatred for one another, minute to minute.
Brent.
Hey, God, can we just let's drop the charade. Fuck Jet Set Radio. Brent is the worst.
He is just amazing.
Just
and awful.
intolerable.
Hey guys,
Yeah, what do you want, you dumb fuck?
how's it going?
I want you to die.
Want to hang out and play Jet Set Radio?
Yeah,
Talk about Jet Set
sure.
Radio?
Let's just talk about Jet Set Radio. Let's talk about Jet Set Radio. Professor K would hate you if he ever met you.
You're
realize that,
probably
right?
the least like Professor K of all of my friends.
Yeah, I think Professor K would hate me.
Professor K would be cool with me for like 20 minutes, and then he'd be like,
I got a show.
"You're not actually cool, man."
I
When
don't
did
think
he
he's
become
Jamaican.
No, he's really
not?
not. He's really not Jamaican.
Oh.
I think that's racist.
I think so. I
I'm
think
not being racist. I'm just saying, man.
black people.
Hey, you sound Jamaican to me.
He's okay.
This
This poor Minnesotan boy. So we start.
He sounded different.
yeah.
We start with Explosion, in which the Golden Rhinos are now just straight up wearing suicide bomber vests.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
killing themselves to get you.
They
They're-
really don't like rebellious teenagers at
No,
all.
they're blowing shit up.
Like, Onishima seems like kind of, like, measured now. Like,
Yeah, I know. We were thinking back to the first episode. It's like, Jesus Christ, he's just fucking
What
shouting
happened to him?
expletives and firing
Well-
guns at kids, and
Well,
now
we'll
it's like,
talk about that towards the end. But
yeah.
Oh.
But like,
what did happen?
now it's like, man, the good old days when we were only being shot at.
By helicopters.
And now they're just blowing cars up.
Yeah.
Like sending.
So I actually liked that mechanic. This level, there are like
Yeah.
trip mines, proximity
Traps.
mines placed on a lot of the vehicles in the area.
You gotta do a little bit of a drive-by.
Yeah, it's nice because it's an enemy, or like not necessarily an enemy. It's just a bomb, but like it's opposition that you can actually play around using the game's systems as opposed to just like fucking ignoring it and hoping it works.
Fucked.
Yeah. Because you could actually skate close enough to trigger it without getting caught in the explosion, which is less bullshit than just sitting there and tanking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is also the first, I guess it would be unfair to call it a gimmick, but it's the first time you see that Chapter 3 is just going to have all the maps of each district in one go.
They're just kind of big.
Yeah,
And
so
now all of a sudden the time limits make a lot more sense.
They do, because you can get kind of lost in it. Although, so now I like the format of this a lot. How like now that we're familiar with all the areas separately, it makes a whole lot more sense how they fit together.
Yeah.
My only problem with that is that it doesn't fucking show you the full map of the district unless you're in those intermediary like connective zones.
I didn't even know there was a map until like now.
We talked about it on the first episode.
Yeah, I kind of forgot, and then like I was checking, and I'm like, okay, so I can actually see where I'm going here.
Yeah, because it's definitely easy to have like 4 left, and you're like, where the fuck am I even supposed to go? Because these maps are pretty damn big.
Yeah, they're fucking huge.
Now that they've actually connected all the subsections.
Here's the thing that pisses me off about this. Mostly I like it. Why the fuck were we doing races before this happened?
Yeah, that is the exact... We get to a race pretty quickly, but that is definitely something I want to touch on. Is just like how sometimes the order of the missions make perfect sense, and other times it's like the exact opposite order of what they should be.
Yeah, like we should not have done the yo-yo thing until after this point.
Yeah. After you'd seen the whole thing put together.
And in completing this, they confirm rather that the Golden Rhinos are a secret branch of the Rokaku group, which I kind of thought they had already explicitly said this, but I guess not.
No,
they hinted at it, but it was pretty obvious.
There's some connection between the Golden Rhinos and the Rokaku group, which both arrived at the exact same time.
The only antagonists in this game that aren't the police.
Yeah. But yeah, so now that's confirmed. And then we have a challenger, Piranha.
I literally did this in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, this one was really quick.
That was super quick.
Never used her.
She's this... She looks... I'm assuming she's American, because she's got like the typical American baseball uniform
she might be I think they're called ganguros.
What is that?
They like tan themselves and they wear like really weird clothes.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's only because that's only because this takes place in Japan, and the other Americans were
explicitly.
They're like, we came from America.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
She just kind of seemed like this hip hop sort of.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the game.
I mean, yeah.
She was like moving around with this rhythm.
She had the.
She had this music.
She was
playing.
popping and locking and.
Yeah, a lot of popping and locking in this game. But you control the GGs again in these challenges, which I guess shatters my theory that like now we lead all the challenges because we're established. I guess it's just if you're from America, you have to be challenged.
That makes sense. The Japanese are really racist.
Yeah, so why like after we've like established ourselves though, are people like still like, hey, if you want me to join, you gotta prove yourself?
Yeah, it didn't really feel like,
and with such limp-wristed shit too.
It didn't feel justified that we were still having challengers show up because now we're literally the only gang still in town.
Yeah,
everyone else has been wiped out by us and the Rokaku project.
Especially when your challenge is just jump across these platforms and then jump from a rail onto a rail. Holy shit, you guys are good.
So it was the easiest challenge since Chapter 1, easily.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because you were like playing as Cube and Combo in that section, and so like you were playing as them trying to join the gang.
Yeah.
But then when I thought about it, like you play as the other characters when they join the gang, so why wouldn't you play as them joining the gang?
Yeah, I guess it made more sense. It made sense to me in Chapter 1 because it felt like
you were just getting started.
We were recruiting more than they were asking to join. Because every time you approach them, like, you think you have the stuff to skate with me and that kind of thing. So
yeah,
that was like the lamest way I could have expressed it. You think you have the stuff to skate with me?
Hey man, you got those.
It's like a fucking roller derby.
You got those skills to ride?
You got the skills.
Do you have the skills?
Do you have the skills to pay the toll booth of the souls?
But then after the Piranha Challenge, we have Fight or Flight, in which we play. It's on that map with the
big
water
walls and
water
Piranha
side.
Show.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're like
Yeah, I
bursting through the
fucking
walls.
hated this one because the area you start in.
Mhm.
I correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the first time you're in that area, right?
Yeah, so you start on this big, basically like a fucking mountainside made of rooftops.
Yeah, it's kind of like a shanty town, sort of.
Yeah, all the buildings are packed tightly together, and you can just skate all the way down these rooftops.
Now, the other time you played this map, it was like not. It
not
was like
this area.
yeah, it was like one little section
Yeah.
where you like skated through the buildings.
And you've been in the sewer, which I didn't even realize was connected to
Yeah,
this.
exactly. I wasn't even looking for that.
Yeah.
Like, it comes up in one, I think in one race or something, you go down the sewer.
You when you fight Poison Trap.
Oh no, I mean like going from Koganicho, the above ground, to the sewer. I think that happens at one point.
Oh, maybe. I don't remember.
But like that's the only indication you have of it, and it took me so long to find, and that was after this fucking shanty town, because you're supposed to jump through the fucking windows to get to the other part of the map, and it's like, well, I didn't fucking think of that for ages.
You can also jump on the car and up onto the roof. I didn't actually realize you could go through the windows for the longest time to get across.
Oh yeah, that might have been better. Like, I didn't even...
They both work equally. The only difference is that if you go through the building, you can't get shot at by the assholes wearing jetpacks.
Yeah,
fucking
I like how
Jesus.
they keep introducing these new assassins in this second part.
That
New
is
enemy
cool,
types.
but this enemy type doesn't have any counterplay whatsoever. At least the other guys, you can at the very least, you can kite them, which is boring as fuck, but it's an option. You can just skate to the other side of the map.
You know, sometimes you can actually affect them.
Yeah.
Which is really fun, because that's like, yeah, sticking it to the man.
Yeah.
Making helicopters crash.
But these guys, they're always up in the air, and they always have a bead on you whenever you're on the rooftops, which is where all the tag points are.
And it always feels like you're just about to get stun locked, which is almost as irritating as the real thing.
Yeah, and you can get knocked up the buildings by the knockback they do with their shots and stuff. It's just
Which is
a whole
weird
bunch of
because
noises.
you need to do a lot of specific platforming.
Yeah. But I did think it was cool to finally understand how all the pieces of this map went together.
I didn't know they all.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah. When I saw the sewers, I was like, "Oh, that looks familiar," and I just kind of walked down there. I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah, this totally leads to the sewer section we went to in Chapter 1."
And the
Yeah,
sewers
and
go
the
to the
sewers come back
construction.
Yeah, the sewers go to the construction area, and then that loops back up to the shantytown mountainside thing. So it's kind of one big cycle.
Yep.
Which is kind of a unique structure for this map, because a lot of the other ones are a little more interconnected. This one you basically have to go in a clockwise fashion around the whole map.
Yeah,
I was
every
hoping
one-
that in the sewers they wouldn't fucking follow.
Every one of these I was actually shorter on time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
I did not get a single score above pedal.
Yeah, I got the lowest score every time as well. I was kind of cutting it close a few times.
Yeah. On this one, actually, I had about 80 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember...
Out of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was... I forget exactly what it was. Oh, wait, no, it was Benton, because it was nighttime, and it was fucking infuriating me.
Yeah, I had to play the third one. Yeah.
Yeah, before we get to Benton, we have a challenge from Slate.
The first legitimate race in the whole game.
Squidward nose and everything.
Yeah, I have him labeled as Squidward with an orange jacket and a fucking.
He's got his
cone
nose
hair
in his
down his collar.
Yeah.
So I got the impression that this guy was Yo-Yo's older brother for some reason. He kept
looks a
saying
little-
the same things.
He looks a little similar.
He kept going, nice! In kind of the same way.
It's sweet
Oh,
and
well-
tight.
Yeah, he was saying sweet, though.
Okay, fair enough.
But, I don't know, I just kind of got that impression. But this is, the first legitimate race in the whole fucking game.
Because
you
we
actually know
just played a level where we explored this entire area. So I can pull up the map at the beginning and look at the point and be like, oh, I go there.
it. Yeah.
So you know how to get ahead of him and everything.
This race still took me 4 tries, but that was because the last time I played, I threw my controller, and that messed up the cord a lot.
Oh,
So-
so you're losing control midway through?
Yep.
You threw your controller on this section?
No, probably
Yo-Yo?
the first time we played Jet Set. Also Ori.
Oh,
It's been
yeah.
going, through some shit with Game Club. Also,
Game
Mirror's
Club
Edge.
really ruins your controller.
It really fucking does.
Yeah.
So I kept having, I was like the most frustrated virgin with ED in the world going, just get in there! It was the
Yeah, I
most-
did like how this race was the one where you didn't have to actually follow them.
Yeah.
Where you're going.
All the races should have been in this part of the game. Every last one.
That's exactly what I think. I also noticed that when I got to the construction section, it's all kind of craggy and you're going up this hill.
Yeah.
Slate kept jumping, and every time he jumped, he would get a little bit more distance between me and him. I'm like, wait a minute, do you gain speed when you jump? I don't know how I never found this out, but if I had known that at the beginning, I would have spent so much less fucking time on so many of the back-tagging missions, because then when you get to the next back-tagging mission, and I knew you could just spam the jump button to gain on people, it took me like
The
30
jump
seconds.
speeds you up.
Yeah, this one
Yes.
That much?
This one was really
God
easy.
damn it!
And it doesn't make any sense. Logistically, like, if you're using effort to move yourself up, it shouldn't accelerate you. It doesn't make any
Well,
fucking
in
sense.
a lot of games, that when you jump, right, you lose stamina too.
Yeah,
So
and in
you
this,
kind of get this in your mind that you
it's
don't
like
want
a
to jump to
Morrowind.
go faster.
Yeah, in this, it's like a Morrowind thing. If you're jumping, you're just doing better. So,
Man, I
Well, you should-
do Morrowind.
Let me know what.
Somehow.
I wish I knew sooner. But yeah, so that's how I ended up beating him on my first try. As I saw him jumping, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just spam jump. Oh, okay, I soared right fucking past him.
I figured that out pretty early, but I didn't know it was like... I thought I was just doing the Link thing, where like you roll and
It's a
you feel like
placebo.
you're getting any speed. Yeah, I thought that was it.
It is totally not
But
a
it's
placebo.
real and everything.
Yeah, it makes you go faster for sure.
Oh, that's why I'm so great at games.
Yeah. Then we
Should
have
have put in the tutorial.
Then we have Ben 10 Burning, where the streets are littered with these giant, burly karate guys.
Yeah.
These guys are pretty easy to dodge, I
Well, you
found.
can like sneak around them for some of them, but then there's those ones like up on
Right
those, like
next to the tags.
yeah, those like
I
catwalk ones.
grinded past them, and they take so long to turn because it's such a close space.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And also, weirdly,
That's blow your mind.
they stand perfectly still until you get in their aggro range. So you only have to deal with the one at a time, really.
Yeah. I didn't have a problem with the mechanics of this. It was, except for the part where I had a problem with the mechanics of this.
Yeah.
Like, it was just that last one, you know, the one where, like the tag where you have to go along several rails. It's where the yo-yo race ends.
Yeah.
That one fucked me so many times. I was screaming by the end of that one.
Yeah, this one was kind of like post-traumatic stress disorder triggering in a lot of ways because
I
this
just
is
kept
where
hearing like vague echoes in the distance, as if from the haunted vestiges of my mind. Sweet.
Yeah, this one led to some frustration for me just because like I kept getting turned around because all the streets looked the same. Somehow I just kept. I know that you have the map, but like in the second you're like, oh shit. So yeah, I ran out of time on this one.
Was it just me, or was there only like a couple of places to even get spray paint cans?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is kind of a theme I noticed over the course of Chapter 3. I remember last episode I talked about how I liked some of the levels having like designated areas where you get your health or you get your spray cans because it creates kind of like a dynamic of moving from one point of the map to gather resources, another part of the map to expend them. In this chapter, they take that to like an unpleasant extreme because now the maps are about like probably 5 times as big.
Yeah.
And they still only sometimes have one area. So like on the previous area, Fight or Flight, the only place you can get spray cans in half the map is in the shanty town. Like you'll have to run back sometimes. There just won't be any in the construction area.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
It was kind of frustrating to go through that.
I think there was another part, because I don't remember going back to the shantytown, but
Yeah, you can also get some in the sewers, but like it's basically just
I
like
spent a lot of time in the sewers, so they probably respawned there.
yeah, there are really big gaps between the areas. So I definitely had moments where I ran out. I got into the subway tunnels on the Benton Burning mission and was completely out. So I had to go all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah, that circular kind of
No, I went to the busy streets because they're grind rails.
Yeah, that's where I got it. The circle area is where I ran out.
Oh, yeah.
And that's probably the worst one.
Yeah, that place is weird. There's like this big fucking wheel up in the sky with spokes sticking out of it. You have to grind up a ramp to get onto the wheel, and then grind down the spokes to get to these other high places on the edges of this circular area. And it's really easy to miss the spokes or not get on the wheel properly. It's just kind of...
Oh, that one where you gotta get up to the top.
Yeah, like grind down the spokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awkward.
Fun.
I, like, in the streets, somehow I ran out of time.
Oh,
and I had to do... That sucks, because
you already spent 10 minutes.
Long as shit.
Yeah.
And Brett's over here like, I did it in 80 minutes.
Yeah.
No, I didn't do it in 80 seconds.
80 minutes. Or, no, 80 minutes you did the whole...
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like...
Yeah, I did all of Chapter 3 in about 80 minutes.
That's pretty impressive. I had a few restarts, so it probably took me like 2 hours.
I feel like in terms of stress, I may have been operating at a higher level than you guys, because I was just like, I cannot fucking lose on this. So like, maybe I was just... I feel like in stress we had the same kind of level.
Yeah, there was...
I just focused it.
Your heart gets pounding at the end. You're like, I just want to get the last...
It's almost done.
Well, you finish it, and you find that, from Professor K, you find that the shards of the record, they form an album that, when played, summons a demon.
Yeah.
Which is kind of out of left field. There hasn't really been anything completely fantastical yet. I mean, obviously, you've got, like, people with jetpacks and shit, which is crazy, but it's, like, theoretically everything that has happened so far.
So it's a Roku.
Well, it was kind of like this rock and roll moment, you know, like you summon the devil, rock and roll.
Yeah,
it was like this rock and
Destiny
roll.
kind of
And maybe that's
hooked
where you
into
think
hip-hop.
it's going, considering they've already used Dragula and shit. But no, it goes to this. Well,
We'll get to it in a second, because they're not far off.
it's beautiful.
But there's kind of a brief, like, the penultimate mission is almost kind of like an interlude. Like, it's kind of breaking...
Oh, right, I forgot this mission existed, actually.
Yeah, so we... Oh, and they stole the record while we were finishing up Benton Burning. So as we were, like, covering up all the golden rhino tags across the cities, they snuck into the garage and stole the record back.
Yeah, it's almost like we should have been spending more time on the record instead of just, spray painting shit.
Well, I mean, we had 11 fucking people on it. We were the only one out there.
Yeah, the fuck was Yo-Yo doing?
He was
Yo-Yo was just jacking off to some kind of weird, obscure Russian porn. Probably watching the Troishka dolls.
Sweet! Tight!
Oh.
So tight! Alright. Super sweet. So then there's Behind the Mask, in which Poison Jam, the kaiju-themed gang...
Yeah.
Suddenly become relevant out of nowhere.
Yeah, they've been brainwashed and unmasked. And they are... It's another Tag the Backs mission, but this time it takes place in the, downtown area of Benton.
And there's one asshole that likes to jump across the roofs.
This is the mission I was talking about when I said I learned about the jumping thing. This mission took me, at most, 60 seconds.
It took me about 3 minutes. How about you, Brent?
Well, that's that guy that jumps across the roof, and then he falls. It took me a little time.
I think I got him first, because I don't remember anyone jumping across the rooftops.
Man, that's crazy, though, because I took 3 minutes, and I still got the highest ranking, so you must have gotten, mega high.
Yeah, that's what they give me, mega high out of 10.
You huff your own spray
I was fucked up. I pulled a yo-yo. I just tightened the strings on my hoodie and just fucking hotboxed my hood.
Tight!
Sweet.
Yo-Yo would definitely be the guy who tells you, when you're 15, that he has the line on weed and then gives you oregano.
Yeah.
Hey man, you want to come hang out after school? We got some weed.
Yeah, he would call it oregano and then try to backtrack on it.
Yeah.
Because he knows.
I was kidding. Let's smoke it. This kind of tastes like oregano. Yeah, it's that kind of weed.
It's very exotic. You're gonna have to pay me double for this.
It's the good shit, Holmes.
Now huff this rag.
Jesus, has he got some ether or something?
Tight.
No, it's ibuprofen that he put he
Wow.
smushed the powder and he's like, this is gonna take you to outer space.
Hey, I gotta
Which we
go home.
to
I got some.
almost next mission.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's a
That,
homework
that
to
was,
do,
that was
Yo-Yo.
well done.
Yeah, so we learned...
Professional props.
Yeah, we learned that Goji, the leader of the Rokuku project, he wants to summon and strike a deal with the Record Demon so that he can take over Japan.
So
Pretty typical stuff.
It makes sense. It's a good business move.
Yeah.
So he has
The
a
stocks will go up.
giant record.
Yeah,
The tower.
Final Groove is the mission in which we go to the Rokuku Tower, and at the top there is a giant turntable robot with these like floating platforms spiraling around the edges of it.
With dancers in the...
There's like go-go dancers in cells and stuff.
Yeah.
This area is fucking weird. And to top it off, they play this weird, like, kind of industrial, ethereal, electronic music.
Yeah.
With, like, ghost samples and stuff. It's trippy.
It was
Very-
different than everything else.
Yeah, and I love that Goji is also a DJ, because he's sitting in the center of the turntable, like, mixing the beat.
Is he like Dr. K's, like, arch
Antithesis.
nemesis?
White Dr. K.
Yeah.
Never
Dr.
shall
L.
the twain meet.
Yeah.
Jet Set Radio.
But
I like how we call him white, but he's the leader of a Japanese group. His
Yeah.
name's Goji.
pale skin. But so you go around this big fucking record. It's a little cumbersome to manage because it's like spinning the whole time. So you have to time things perfectly. Jump off the edge of the spiraling record onto these platforms with the tags, and
Pretty easy.
yeah, it wasn't too hard. Although those gears are a little
Yeah.
tricky.
You had to find the right one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some like Banjo-Kazooie kind of shit where you're jumping on these rotating gears, which is not really conducive to being on roller skates.
No.
But,
it was irritating. Only one of them gave me real trouble. The one where the middle one will fuck you.
Yeah, but if you
One
fall
of the middle
off,
ones
it
was,
only
like
gives...
backwards.
Where it's just going too fast for you to keep your momentum.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but if you fall off, it just penalizes you some health.
I actually died.
Oh wow.
Oh, well, thanks.
I
Jeez.
finished it
Good
with like
work,
half my
Brett.
health still, so.
No, I did that my second time through. I wanted to get the full experience.
Yeah. But every time you go to those outer platforms, there's a literal giant golden rhino that is like charging up flame breath at you. It's kind of terrifying.
And I just kind of kept...
Yeah, I was in the zone.
I didn't really realize that he was gonna have like huge. I thought that was the boss and that he was like gonna be done, and then there was like the part with him at the end.
Yeah. Turns out you have to juggle two monstrosities at once. But you go to all the platforms and tag them, which of course blows the machine up.
Yep, the record's spinning faster
Yeah,
and faster every time we do
I
it.
kind of thought it was speeding up.
It totally is.
I was
It
like,
was.
is it
It's
just
kinda
me, or is this getting faster?
Yeah, so it's almost kind of beneficial to do the hardest platforms first, so that the later ones are easy to get on when it's spinning super fast. But I
The
didn't-
rail ones almost don't even need to be there.
Yeah, they're trivial. But you finish that, it blows up, and then he's just sitting there in the middle of the rubble. And you grind over this rail that's
Yeah.
like leaning over his head, and you spray paint the top of his bald head, which causes him to like melt down.
Yeah,
then
what
he,
did you
like,
have in your
throws
can?
himself.
Yeah, it must have been like fucking cyanide or something in there.
It was brutal.
Yeah, he was in agony.
I
But-
thought he just like threw himself off the roof because he was just like, my dreams are shattered.
Yeah, and they fucking were. The whole building fucking blows up. It was
Just because of these dumb kids.
just because of a few
These
spray
rebellious-
paint tags.
Onishima looks on from some bar somewhere looking at the TV just like, fucking told him.
Yeah, okay. So now that we're
filled him with fucking lead.
we're basically at this point. Where did he go?
He's off the radar. He's
Maybe we killed him too.
he might be dead. I would not be surprised.
He had to commit seppuku.
Yeah. But it turns out the record was a hoax. It was just some indie record.
I love that. It was just some
Just some
indie
indie
label.
Yeah, Dr. Case is like, did I make it up? Who knows?
So yeah, there was no demon at all that they introduced in the very final act, along with the villain.
I thought it was kind of comical. It was like this. Oh, it's just an old indie record.
Yeah, it was fun. It was also just like, why didn't they like allude to Goji at all in the first chapter whatsoever? Like, we don't even know the guy until the last 30 minutes of the game, and then we're killing him.
Well, I thought because they introduced
Golden Rhinos?
no, what's his name? I always
Coin.
No, well, yeah, Coin.
We'll get to Coin.
What the police guy,
Onishima.
Onishima.
You thought he was...
Onishima.
Inishimana.
Mushimanama.
Where did he go? I thought he was going to be a more like...
Yeah, he was not even present after Chapter 1.
Yeah.
I was
Whatsoever.
kind of expecting him to like show up at
He
the
retired.
end.
Yeah, I was expecting him to show up in the end and be like, "You fucking shitty little bitch kids were right."
Oh, I was kind of thinking he'd have this change of heart where he'd take down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that would have been cool if he's like, the Rokaku group is a bigger menace than you kids, so we'll work together begrudgingly. But no,
They just shoots you in the back of the head at the end of the game.
yeah.
Gotcha, you dumb fuck. Now it's my city. The enemy of my enemy is a fucking punk.
But yeah,
Send in the choppers.
all the gangs are back in action and presumably in some semblance of harmony. The Rokaku group has been basically like stripped of its power. Goji's son takes up CEO of the Rokaku
Did we
group.
ever like have any introduction to Goji's son, or
No,
just,
he's only
No, it's just
referenced
a
in the
shadowy
comic.
they're just like dropping like people on us that I'm like, what? These aren't
Yeah.
even characters I've heard of before.
Yeah, it's the actual story of this game feels like reading the Wikipedia article to find the story of something. Like, it's just such a cursory glance.
Yeah, and then Coin, who knows?
He's fucking dead.
Oh, really?
Goji killed him.
Oh. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, they
in
said
the
he like.
final comic, they're like, in Coin, well, you can say goodbye to him thanks to Goji. Or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess they killed him to get information about the record. They didn't really explain
The
why.
fake record that was just an indie track.
Just an indie
Yeah,
album.
this story though.
It's a little hodgepodge.
It's a little
Well, like, the thing is, Dr. K just says he made it up at the end.
I mean, that could be
Like,
it.
I kind of
says he-
believe that. Because
he says he
everything
could've.
is status quo.
Yeah.
Everything at the end is status quo, from all we know.
Mm-hmm. Which
Yeah,
that
all
could
the-
have been a fun thing to toy with, but my problem with it is that they don't ever really lend any credence to how Dr. K is getting these news bites. Like, basically, when you complete a mission, he's basically just like, here's what the deal is, but he's not like my informant on the street or anything like
Yeah,
that.
he is. One time, it's that one dude.
One time.
I figured that was every single time.
Yeah, but I felt like they kind of cut quarters with it. Like, it didn't really feel... It felt like he was just pulling this out of his ass a lot of times. Like, he was just handed a script. I don't know.
Maybe it was
Maybe
just
it
a
was
radio
just
show.
bullshitting.
Maybe he was like putting on a radio show talking about these kids in
Like,
Japan.
he was doing fan fiction about the rollerblading
Streets.
gangs, and the gangs were
Yeah.
just like, yeah, no, definitely.
I just think they could have built it up more to make it a little bit more engaging as opposed to just, like, info dumps.
Oh, I just realized. It's like Metal Gear Solid 5. They should have another chapter story where they're just palling around.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Metal Gear Solid 5 should have had another chapter where something got fucking resolved.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
like,
and
all
also, I don't... You guys never did custom tags, did you?
I went and drew a penis
No.
once, but I.
Okay, at the end of the comic that finishes the game, they put your custom tag
Oh, really?
in there. I was kind of happy with that. It just said Shareware down in the bottom of the comic.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
So, does that mean that we are copyright Jet Set Radio now?
yes.
Well,
that's a
there
big
goes the
problem.
show.
But yeah, I didn't do. There were side missions where you can. I mean, you stumbled upon one yourself. You
Yeah.
can just go free roam in the
Which
other
was
areas
nice. I actually enjoyed it a lot more in the missions. 'cause
when there's no timer and shit.
No, there's a timer, but...
Oh.
Well, yeah, there's a timer, but it's just like, get the red arrows. Like, there's nobody chasing you.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Kinda
It's
wish
just
that
kind of
was-
like
You
you're
just
free
skate.
forming and yeah.
Yeah.
I wish all of them were like that. I don't like the enemies in this game at all. I have not liked them.
I don't know what they add.
There were very rarely
Just
times
weird.
when I thought that the enemies really added anything to the game.
Helicopters were the only ones I liked because you could actually destroy them and it was cool.
Yeah, they should have gone to lengths to like make counterplay opportunities. Like if you could like lure the enemies into like alleyways and then like knock down rubble to trap them in an alley or something like that. Like give me something to at
Yeah.
least disable
All
them.
you were able to do is do those little escape sequence things where you'd get away and they'd be like,
stomp their foot.
Yeah, they
shit
For like
this.
3 seconds each time.
Yeah, those long-ass cutscenes that you see every time, even though it's the same cutscene every time.
Yeah, I thought it was unique the first time. I'm like, oh, cool, I got away and now they're done. And then I'm like, no, they're just still here and that keeps happening.
Yeah, you're only safe until you go right back to where you were before because you have to.
Yeah.
Because you were there before, because you wanted to tag something.
So yeah, I don't
It's
know.
just like World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
if you think about it.
Just like more counterplay opportunities for the enemies, and the whole order of every mission needs to be restructured.
Yes.
None of the races should have ever taken place before you'd been exposed to the maps as a whole.
Yeah.
The challenges should have been used the way I described in Chapter 1 as like an explanation of how to get to the more tricky areas of the maps.
Yeah.
And then they have those final missions where the whole map is open with like more advanced tags on it at the end.
And from what I hear, they should just erase the tutorial.
Yeah, well,
Kinda, yeah.
I don't even know what to say about that. Like, it's totally optional. You don't have to do it, but why is it in the game?
I kind of want to go back to it now and see if I can complete it even after having beaten the game.
Yeah, maybe that's the idea, is they put it in to troll the audience because it's the hardest part of the game.
It's like, it said 50 tricks, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Like, I couldn't fucking do that.
And I never paid attention to my tricks at all in the game.
The most I ever got was about 40.
Yeah, it was...
Well, because it's
anyone-
not like Tony
doesn't
Hawk
matter.
where you're pressing combinations to like execute a specific trick. I didn't know what triggered one trick versus the other. It just kind of felt like there was no rhyme or reason. Like, I know certain tricks only occur when you're grinding, and other ones only occur when you're jumping and stuff like that. But overall,
Yeah,
I could not
it
It
make
felt
sense.
like it just kind of happened when you jumped at the right time, or that sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a timing thing or a hold the button thing or what, but yeah, the trick system was not fleshed out in any meaningful way, which is fine, but then why do they have all the tricks like named and assigned different point values?
Yeah.
Either make the tricks distinct or don't.
It felt like they were eventually going to like add something with the tricks to have like kind of a like you do like
Mission requirements?
Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
mission
they-
requirement, or you do like a trick battle with another gang or something.
Like, there's a
Which might have been better than the
score-based
back tagging.
mode.
Yeah.
There is a score-based mode after you beat the game. But,
yeah, and at that point.
It feels like this game was rushed and on a low budget, but there's so little there that I don't see how it could be rushed.
Yeah. I
Like-
guess.
Unless it came out in like 6 months.
Yeah.
But I don't think they were like, no, we need Jet Set Radio.on. Well, maybe.
Who knows?
Because maybe it was Dreamcast's answer to Tony Hawk. That
Yeah,
would make
that
a lot of
could
sense, actually.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, no, we have to get it out now because Tony Hawk is blowing our fucking faces off, so...
Yeah.
So guys, quickly finish this game that you guys have been putting a lot of time into. Just kind of like gloss over the rest of the stuff.
No, dude, you don't understand. We don't even have, like, a background for one of our...
Just like put up anything.
We don't have an actual trick system.
Just put in some tricks and say that you get some points. That works.
Should we have the races in the beginning of the game?
I put them wherever, man. Just get
Okay.
the game out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it would have taken that much to like make a significant improvement. I really think like even if literally everything in the game was the same and they had just changed the order of the missions, it
That
would
would've
be
been-
like
that
a
would've been
dramatic increase to the quality of the game. Just because there are missions where the expectations are not like laid out to you because you're just not familiar with the
Like,
encounters.
The yo-yo race actually would have been really fun if we'd
Yeah.
known the map.
But instead, we're just like trailing him by 3 feet, constantly watching him because I've never been to this area before. How would I know how to race through it?
Yeah.
Yep, race is dumb.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna go back to the characters because this is kind of. It felt like you had these characters in the gang, right? Especially like Cube and Combo come in, and they've got Coin, right? There's no conclusion on like, oh, Coin died. Like you don't get to see what Cube and Combo like how they deal with that. It's just
Yeah, the story is like, it feels like the least emphasized part of it, which is a bummer because for a game that is like all about like kind of the style and presentation, that would be an area where it would be relatively easy for them to like increase the value and like player engagement is just by like adding in some more comics or something like that and just they don't even need to be voice acted. Just give me a little bit more something about each of the characters, like
Who is
some bios
Yo-Yo?
or something.
Where
Yeah.
does Yo-Yo
I
come
don't care
from?
about Yo-Yo.
Yeah, I would definitely skip yo-yos, but like if I could read a bio about the different characters or something, it would be something to just like flesh out the world, as opposed to like it really did just feel like we were collecting different allotments of stats.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is the guy with a lot of power and a little bit of technique, and this is the girl, she's got a lot of speed, but you're not going to give a shit about her other than she looks cool or doesn't.
Yeah. And it felt like they were also kind of going at this, like, first of all, like, this, like, kind of freedom of speech and, like, police brutality sort of thing in the beginning, and then, like, this corporate thing at the end, and then, like,
It was
then
very
the
all
record
And
demon.
then the devil.
Yeah, and then, like, none of it... there was no coherent message there either.
Yeah, it was
It
a
was
very, like, vague, general, just kind of fuck you to establishments, which is fine, but I guess they could have done a better job of, like, tying a bow on each of the various statements the chapters made about, like, corporations and the police and that kind of thing. Like, it didn't feel like anything came to a conclusion with any of them, other than the very end where we basically gutted the Rokufu group. So we won in that sense, but there wasn't like a statement made in regards to that.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, like, even though we gutted it, his son just took it over.
Yeah, well, and they
assume
did say that the son is like, he's cool. Like, there was some line in there about how, like, the son's not going to be an evil guy.
But how do we know that?
Well,
Yeah.
no, I'm not certain about that, actually. I think it was just, like, the old guy gave it to the new guy, but, like, the son was definitely portrayed in the comic as, like, a shadowy figure. Like,
I definitely remember there being some line about, like, us not having to worry about Goji's son. I'm pretty sure there was some offhand line from Professor K about it.
Did, like, we take some kind of power away from their family that, like...
Maybe, I don't know. And I might
Maybe
have
we killed their dad.
Yeah, that would be disempowering.
Yeah.
Maybe I misinterpreted something, but I definitely recall something to that effect.
Yeah.
Well, come back next week for our Jet Set Radio story argument.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with letting that sleeping dog lie.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like there's a story argument. I think we just don't really...
It's confusing because there's so little there sometimes.
It's like the Metal Gear Solid of video games.
Yeah.
But I mean, Dr. K is pretty cool. He says cool stuff sometimes.
Professor K.
Oh,
It is Professor
I called him
K.
Dr. K in my notes.
That's so racist.
That's
Unfucking believable, Brent.
I mean, if he's a professor, he must have got his PhD.
But yeah, I wonder how much of this. I'm kind of curious to try out Jet Set Radio Future, but I don't know where the fuck I would find a copy because there's no PC version of it. It's only on the original Xbox. But from what I understand, a lot of these issues might actually be addressed in that one because I actually did a little research on it last night. But it's basically like kind of a partial remake, partial sequel. It basically takes place in an alternate timeline, and it has almost all the same characters, but none of the characters have any recollection of the first game.
Okay.
And I think it has more fleshed out like characterizations and stuff like that.
Is it a story?
Does it have an
Maybe
option
story.
to, like, pick your music?
I don't know. That would be interesting because the Xbox had custom soundtracks and it had
No,
a hard drive.
I just mean pick your music as in be able to pick between the music in the game because I wanted to listen to some fucking Dragula again.
Oh,
Like,
I
that
liked
was cool.
I liked the way they did the music because every mission had like a playlist that was unique to it, so it felt like there was actually a progression.
That's one major problem with the free roam missions. As far as I could tell, they only have one song.
Oh,
So yeah, you listen to the same song for 10 minutes. Or
That's
maybe
rough.
another 10 minutes because you fucking suck.
yeah. That was one reason why I have no intention of doing the side missions because part of the impetus for me to keep playing was finding out what the rest of the soundtrack is like because every section has new interesting songs and just going back to I'm assuming they have the same songs, right? It's repeats.
Just the song. One song.
But it's a song you've heard before, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my
Is
point.
it just like the regular, like the Jet Set Radio song? Trying to remember how it went.
like I think they all have their one song.
Oh, their one area song. Okay.
Yeah,
But it's something you've heard before, which like that's not a draw to me.
yeah,
So.
and they don't even have all of that area's songs. It's just the
weird.
one.
Because other levels have like 3 songs at a time, so...
Yeah, and I liked all of them except for one, which is usually one that gets picked from. I don't know if that was just a glitch, or... Because God knows I attract glitches in games like a fucking... thing that
Glitch
attracts.
attractor.
Yeah.
I don't know what would attract anything.
Like bees to beer. That's real. It really happens. Bees love beer.
I'll take your word
I've
for
seen them fly in beer before.
Yeah, there's
They
like
enjoy it.
there's bee traps where you just fill it with beer and they can't get out.
it. Beer
Die
is
drunk.
generally
So
popular.
why do you like to bring glitches towards you? You like to
I don't like
attract
to.
them?
I've broken MMOs before.
impressive.
I made it impossible to continue with a character in Terra.
What?
I somehow blocked myself off completely.
Did you make a new character, or you just like, fuck it?
I had to make a new character because it was in the tutorial area, and for some reason there's a huge fucking rock, and no matter what I did, if I logged out or left an instance or whatever, it would not move. So I just had to make a new character.
Jeez.
I'm really good at this. So maybe that happened again.
Yeah. Well, any closing thoughts on Jet Set?
You know,
It was a game.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed like the feeling of it.
Yeah.
I like
I liked the
everything-
tone. I just couldn't hang with it.
Yeah, it was like
Those
somebody
games.
cool you know at work, and you're like, all right, you got some cool. You say some cool things,
And then you hang out with
but
them.
I gotta go home.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause I got other friends that are actually under the surface good people.
Interesting metaphor. I like
Oh
it.
man, yeah. That's fast food.
I enjoyed the 6 hours I put into it overall. Like I'm happy I played it. There were definitely a few standout moments of just like fuck this game. Mostly the yo-yo race and the stair high-rise back-tagging challenge.
Yeah.
But even within a lot of the missions, there were individual sections where I was just frustrated with
It's like fuck off.
what it took to get to a certain area or something like that, or like, oh, I'm out of spray paint cans, I'll go all the way back to the other side of the map or something.
Just the way the game works just lays itself out perfectly for that, because you have to like grind on a specific rail sometimes,
Yeah.
and you miss it, you gotta go back.
Yeah.
It just kind of like sets it. It's not really anything. I think you could design the levels to do better. I think that's just kind of like that's the setup of the game.
Yeah.
There's going to be frustrating as
I-
parts.
I tend to judge a game based on how emphatically I'm trying to appeal to its better nature. Like when I'm having a really hard time, I'm like, just give this to me. Just give it. I have 80 seconds left. Just give it. And like, if I do that, I generally decide I don't like the game.
Okay.
That's my personal criteria.
Fair enough. Well, that brings Jet Set Radio to a close.
Finally.
Jet set.
Jet
Set
Radio.
Jet set. Jet set.
You busted out a new
Set.
track.
Radio.
Radio. Hey.
Radio.
Jet set.
Radio.
You can't sue us for this. Jet set.
Radio.
So, this is going to be the last week with Brent for a little while. So, I just want to
Goodbye.
say thanks for being on. It's been a lot of fun.
You guys aren't going to kick me off?
I guess we should. Yeah, fuck you, Brent. I never want to see
I'm
you
not
again.
going to say anything to you.
You're
So
not
as far
welcome
as I'm
back.
concerned, you've already left.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gone.
I don't care.
Oh. Are we not friends anymore, Brett?
Anyway, Josh, what's our next game?
Don't be too brokenhearted though, because we're gonna have somebody else, an old face, next week. With
Not really
Brett.
a face, it's more of a voice.
Yes. There's a face that produces the voice. You can't hear it, but
I
you
feel
know
like
it's there.
I feel like the voice is produced lower than the face.
Yeah. Regardless,
I'm saying it's your voice is down in your throat, not your face.
So I gotta open up your throat, find your voice?
Yeah, I'm saying the face, it don't make the voice.
hopefully next week will be less pedantic, but I can't make promises. But next week will also include the game club for the game Cibele.
Look forward to this.
not Brett's type of game, so it'll be...
I have experience in this sort of thing because I spent a lot of time in roleplay circles.
Yeah.
And from what I read about this game, this kind of shit was so common that I'm going to poke a million fucking holes in it and expose it for the immature bullshit I believe it to be.
Alright.
So look forward to that.
Yeah.
Have a great time. I can't wait to play that for 2 hours.
I know very little about it. This is our third host selection. I know it to be a game about internet relationships and dating and sex, and I'm just going in with an open mind. I honestly don't know what to expect.
Yeah, me too. Open mind.
Yeah, really open mind, no prejudice whatsoever.
No.
Just open to understanding
No,
this.
I'm gonna be very kind.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Brent. Thanks, Brett.
Thanks, Brett.
I'm Brent.
I'm Brett.
You guys are fucking worthless.
No, you're Josh.
This has been Josh. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Peace.
We forgive you.
Jet Set Radio.
Well,
Oh, shit. I'm gonna take about 30 seconds on this, so edit this in to make it seem good. What's a kind of rock?
igneous.
Igneous.
I'm not gonna edit that at all.
Oh, you're not?
I think
Okay.
you're igneous of rocks.
No, you shouldn't edit.
Okay.
You should edit that out.
Yeah. Okay.
We
so
should just-
edit this part, but not the last part, but this part from when I'm talking now to about 30 seconds in the future.
I'm just gonna edit the whole show off of the internet. I'm just gonna remove any semblance of shareware from the face of the internet.
Should wipe your hard drive too.
Yeah. I'm just
Wipe
gonna,
it. He's gonna put it in the fucking water.
I'm just gonna burn my apartment down with myself locked inside as soon as you guys leave.
Why did you gonna let us leave?
I don't think the other people that live here are gonna be in on the joke.
As
their
don't
homes
worry.
burn
When the
down.
punchline hits, you'll know.
No, I'll be like in the crowd and be like, he did it because of our podcast.
Good one, Josh.
The only good visual gag.
Um,
Self-immolation.